culture rendezvous, and today the city of Angoulême is facing an invasion of cartoonists and comic book enthusiasts as an international festival dedicated to graphic novels opens down there. Our culture editor, Catherine Nicholson, is among them. Catherine, many of our viewers will know cartoon characters like Tintin and Asterix, who are much loved by families here in France and abroad. Is this event simply one for the kids?
Well, I may be standing next to an exhibition that's dedicated to the 80th birthday of the Mickey Mouse comic strip, but no, this isn't just about children by any means at all. This is in fact known as quite a weighty cultural event. This is a world-renowned festival, the biggest of its kind globally, and 200,000 people are expected to come to Angoulême over the next 4 days. Just to put that into a little bit of context for you, that's about 5 times the town's normal population. So we've got comic book authors themselves coming down here, and of course enthusiasts to sell and buy books, authors doing signings. They're also doing workshops. People can learn a little bit more about the trade itself, and there are exhibitions like this one. There are also much less frivolous topics being taken on here. For example, one exhibition commemorating the 100th anniversary of the breakout of the First World War in 1914. So really incredibly diverse. One question that I asked one of the organisers when I met up with him earlier was just why has Angoulême become this cartoon capital?
Angoulême is the biggest comics festival in the world, actually. So it is the biggest festival in France. It's an event like no other in any country because we have many exhibitions, many big exhibitions, and you don't see that anywhere else. I really can say why comics books are so important for French culture. It seems rooted to our history. It's been a long time since French people are reading comics, and it was always like that. But the thing is, now we're trying to import all the comics from everywhere, and it seems the only place in the world where people are interested in all the different comics that exist. So it makes this event kind of a very unique event in the world. So we can see adult comics, children comics, political comics, American comics, Israeli comics.
So, Catherine, tell us about the graphic novels that are in contention for this year's festival prizes.
Well, there are 35 of them in total in the competition, Claire, and they take on an enormous range of subjects. They have the adventure stories and the kind of things you might expect, but also, for example, a historical book talking about the real life of Helen Keller, the famous deaf-mute girl. There's also a cartoon adaptation of Albert Camus' The Outsider, a French literary classic, and another that's an incredibly personal take on the artist's own relationship with her mother, so quite a therapy-based book there. Now, this one's by an American graphic novel author called Alison Bechdel, who's really rather famous already. You might have actually heard of something called the Bechdel test, which is for movies to see if they're feminist or not. If you haven't heard of it, do look it up. She's known for talking about feminist issues, gay rights issues, that kind of thing. Very, very interesting author. And our literature critic, Gladys Marivat, has met up with her for us as she talks about her graphic novel that's in the competition here. It's called Are You My Mother?
I'm certainly a very wordy cartoonist, you know. It's a very mysterious process that I don't know quite how to explain. If you were watching me, it would look like I was writing. I'm on my computer and I'm typing, but I'm typing in a drawing program. So it's not just a Word document with lines going left to right across the page. I'm actually creating panels and placing my text and dialogue on the page in a certain relation, even though I haven't actually done any drawing yet. But I'm imagining that drawing. So it feels like my writing and drawing are happening simultaneously, but the physical drawing doesn't happen until later.
And Catherine, what about Homegrown Talent?
Yes, it's not just an international festival. There are, of course, plenty of French authors here. One that we found particularly interesting is a guy called Nicolas Wild. Now, he's taking a sort of a quasi-documentary, almost journalistic approach to his work. And he's based it a lot on his own travels to countries that a lot of journalists try to go to, but don't necessarily get access to the places they want. For example, he's written 2 books based on his life as an expat in Afghanistan, a lot of people that he met there. The book that he has in competition here this year is based on repression in Iran. Now, one of the things that's come out of his work is the fact that he can get access to people and places that people like us, with our TV crew, our camera, all these sorts of things, can't necessarily get access to, and tell stories that might otherwise go unheard. So take a listen to Nicolas Wild.
Back at home, you can draw the missing images, but also what people imagine, what they dream about. Your drawings can be metaphorical, symbolic, and describe a reality which isn't necessarily the first degree of reality.
So there we go, the festival here is on from now until Sunday, and don't forget that we're going to have a special edition of our Arts and Culture show Encore for you from the festival at 5:15 p.m. tomorrow. That's Paris time.
Thanks very much, Catherine. Enjoy that festival. Time now for our daily sports roundup. Tennis shortly, but we start with a new player for Paris Saint-Germain.
Paris Saint-Germain unveiled French international Yoann Cabaye on Wednesday after he signed a 3.5-year deal from English Premier League side Newcastle. The 28-year-old midfielder is reported to have cost the French champions around €24 million after they had an earlier offer rejected.